It's time to meet Clifton.
With your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Thank you, and welcome to Meet Clifton. I'm your host, Ray, and this is my good friend, George Silva. What's new, buddy?
Everything is good tonight.
That's
we
good.
have some outstanding guests.
Yeah, we do. Well, we have a lot to talk about tonight, and there are several amazing guests ready to share their expertise with us. But first, here's a song from our friends, the Two Tones, to help us settle in. So hit it, Lenny.
Tonight on Meet Clifton, Ray sits down with health educator for the Clifton Health Department, Layal Helwani. Managing broker, John Varriano. And the 2018-2019 United Little Miss, Sydney Lalla, with Latasha Castrolala. And as always, music by the Two Tones. All this and more on Meet Clifton.
Thank you all for joining us this evening for another fantastic episode of Meet Clifton. We take our health and the health of the community very seriously around here on this show, and there are so many choices that we can make that affect our health. Here tonight is Layal Helwani from the Clifton Health Department to explain just one of the most prevalent new choices and the effects it can have. Welcome, Layal.
Thank you so much for having
Last
me.
time you were on the show, e-cigarettes and vaping, big issue.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a whole other term, and that's juuling, and I don't understand it, so
Okay.
you can explain.
All right, so that's right. The last time I was on your show, I spoke about some of the concerns that we had with electronic cigarettes. The reason why I'm here tonight is to specifically talk about juuling, which has become the latest trend in electronic cigarettes. In fact, it's become so trendy that Juuls account for 60% of e-cig sales in the United States. And the fact that we've managed to turn this brand of electronic cigarette into its own verb, right? We know it as juuling. That says a lot about how popular the device has become. So it's very simply, a Juul is a brand of electronic cigarette.
Okay.
And what distinguishes it from other e-cigs is that it does not resemble your typical electronic cigarette. Rather, it resembles a USB flash drive and can be charged through a laptop's USB port. The way it works is similar to other electronic cigarettes. There's a pod that you purchase that goes within the device.
Right.
Through a heating process, the e-liquid turns into an aerosol that contains nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals. But just going back to the way it looks, the fact that it has such a subtle and discreet look to it, that creates a problem considering who's doing the juuling the most, and that happens to be our youth.
Right. George, I know you don't understand it either, but I know you have a big question.
I've
It's
seen it,
important.
but, the main thing would be what's the dangers of Juuls?
So the dangers of juuling, the biggest concerns that we currently have with Juuls are the outrageous levels of nicotine in Juul pods. So believe it or not, one Juul pod contains as much nicotine as a full pack of cigarettes. That's 20 cigarettes. That is very dangerous levels of
Yes.
nicotine.
Sure.
And beyond the nicotine, we have yet to study the long-term effects of juuling since it's still relatively new. But we know that in the short term, at the minimum, it'll increase your heart rate, it'll increase your blood pressure. And think about, the chemicals that you're introducing into the lungs, things like formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, acetone. These are known carcinogens, and something called diacetyl, which is probably one of the most concerning chemicals because it's been linked to something called bronchiolitis obliterans, what we know as popcorn lung. All right? And popcorn lung,
I learned that term.
yes. Popcorn lung essentially is a very serious and irreversible lung disease that causes a scarring of the tiny air sacs of the lungs. So what that does is it causes the airways to narrow and thicken. So in other words, it makes it incredibly difficult to breathe.
Okay, so with all it's fairly serious. So
Yes.
the FDA, what are they doing? Are
Right,
they helping us here?
Yes, the FDA, by the way, has considered juuling and vaping to be an epidemic. So they're focusing a lot of their energy on cracking down on illegal sales of e-cigs and Juuls to minors. Specifically, they are doing compliance checks and checking to see if tobacco retailers are selling to minors and whether or not they're following protocol and checking ID as requested. They're also enforcing the advertising and the labeling aspect. So what that means is, specifically with e-liquids. E-liquids can no longer resemble candy-like or cereal-like flavors that kids are familiar with. And then in terms of the advertising, they are enforcing that as well.
Jeez.
Specifically, with the advertising piece, they can no longer sell or direct their advertising to youth. So you're going to notice huge changes in the current advertising for, or the current advertising done by Jewel Labs.
Right.
You used to see young faces in those commercials all the time, but now it's older adults. And the emphasis is really targeting adult smokers who are trying to quit smoking. So you're going to see a lot of older people in
So
those
we spent
commercials.
all these years knocking cigarettes,
I
taking
know.
all the ads out of the magazines,
right.
off the TVs, and now we have something that's worse.
That's right. It feels like we're going backwards in a
It's
sense.
worse than tobacco.
Yeah.
You said one is like a pack of cigarettes.
Yes, in terms of the nicotine.
That's pretty serious. I mean,
Yes.
hope we're working on it. At least, how are we doing Clifton-wise?
So
Yes.
I'm proud to say that at the Clifton Health Department, we are taking this issue very seriously. We are focusing on the education piece.
Right.
In the last year, I've gone to both middle schools as well as the high school, and I've run programs with the students that really emphasize a lot of the concerns that we have with juuling and the potential harmful effects on their health, and the concerns that we have with the nicotine and popcorn lung. I'm also proud to say that we are hoping to bring back the Tobacco Age of Sale program, the TASE program, that
Okay.
is a federally mandated inspection program. And what that would entail is I would essentially go undercover with a minor, and I would accompany that minor as they attempt to make a purchase of an electronic cigarette and see if that purchase is made. And obviously, if that purchase is made, that's going to result in big problems for
Right.
the store.
But I think moving forward, we have a serious problem here, and we're going to have to address
That's
this
right.
because we don't know what the long term is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. You speculate, but
Based on what we know, it's not looking too good.
yeah. So now we had all those things with cigarettes. Now we're going to have
Exactly.
e-vape, which might be worse
Right.
because now we have
Absolutely.
different chemicals.
Yes.
And I don't know. Is there any concern about drugs getting involved in this, or is that something that's on the table?
In terms of
Lacing.
yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah.
Things like CBD oil, marijuana. It's not uncommon for those things to be placed in the device
Right.
as well.
That would be my concern.
Yeah.
And just also, you also educate. We work in other towns, right?
Yes, we provide services for the Township of Little Falls as well. So
Okay.
I've also gone to school number 1, which is they serve grades 5 through 8, and I've
Right.
done education for them as well.
Okay. In Clifton alone, do you see a lot of kids doing this now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, especially since we're located right next to, Clifton.
Yeah, I
and
know.
We do see, yeah,
That's sad. Well, hopefully,
A lot more than what you think.
yeah.
yeah. Well, hopefully, with Layal's help and other people start pushing this,
Right.
will be better.
Right.
But I mean, I wish you a lot of luck with this because
Yes.
it sounds
Yeah,
a
thank
lot
you.
more serious than I thought it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I'd like to thank you for coming
Of
on. If
course.
anybody has any questions, they can contact Layal at the health department. Certainly call if you have any questions or you have concerns about your children or adults. But thank you, Layal, for
Yeah,
coming on. I
thanks so
appreciate it.
much for having me.
Thank you. Coming up next, we'll be discussing the real estate market and how it changed over the years. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Hello, Clifton and friends. Welcome to the updates. Well, spring is almost here, but there are a lot of activities happening around town. Now, some are a little bit different than what we had before. At the Hamilton House Museum, which is located at 971 Valley Road, they're going to have a fiber arts of the 19th century. So you can join modern crafters, and they'll be demonstrating different fiber arts such as knitting, crocheting, lace making, spinning, weaving, and Dorset button making. So it's a little bit different, and that is March 24th, Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the suggested donation is $5 per adult. Then they are going to have Shakespeare in the Park, which will be at Hamilton House Museum March 27th from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. And seating is limited, so please call in advance for reservations. Their number is 973-706-6640. And at a new place is Vanderhoef House in Clifton. It is within Weaselbrook Park by entering Park Drive and Gregory Ave on Sunday, March 31st. It will be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a fun event, fun afternoon workshop. It's called the Rube Goldberg Machine. And it's a crazy contraption which accomplishes a simple task in the most complicated and funnest way possible. The workshop is for ages 7 and up. And again, that's Sunday, March 31st, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please call for advance registration for that. And Lauren?
Hi everyone. One important upcoming event is the Clifton City Hall Blood Drive. It'll be on Thursday, March 21st from 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. It'll be in front of Clifton City Hall, 900 Clifton Avenue. To register, and if there's any questions or any information that you want to know about, you can call 201-251-3703 or visit Vitalant, VITALANT.org. Also, there are a lot of upcoming events from the Clifton Recreation Department. Some include the New York Yankees and New York Mets trip, daddy-daughter date night, the Clifton History bus tour, and there's many more. For any questions, or if you want to see all the times and the dates of all the other events, you can visit www.cliftonrec.com, and you can also call for more information 973-470-5956.
And also, St. Patty's Day is coming up, so go around your local restaurants, support them, and enjoy the day out very responsibly and with a bunch of good friends. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you around town.
Thank you, Sharon and Lauren, for keeping our viewers in the know of what's happening around town. Speaking of being around town, it takes a keen eye to be able to bring people who want to live in a certain area to their dream home. Our next guest will explain the recent changes in the way a real estate office does their job. Please welcome John Varriano. How are you, John? Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Ray.
Nah,
Great to
well,
be
actually,
here.
we know each other, but technically.
It's great to be here.
John's a branch vice president of a managing broker office out in Chester, but he's also from Clifton. And, we've had a lot of changes over the past few years, and I'd just like John to start with, we're going to talk past and present. So let's start with, what did the real estate market look like 10 years ago versus today?
So versus today, Ray, it's a very good question. First, I'd like to start off by saying in 2005, the market peaked in the 2005-2006 market. Then things slowed down a little bit. 2008, things started to pick up. And the landscape for Clifton, happy to report that the active listings today versus 2008, about the same.
Right.
Average sale price, about the same. 200 more homes sold in the past year, and the days on market field have dropped considerably
Okay.
versus 2008.
Right. We have a lot of technology, online things, mobile changes. How does that affect real estate?
It's changed a great deal. Technology has grown over the past 10 years. I think social media has played a big part in
Right.
real estate today with the way buyers and sellers interact with real estate agents.
Right. And I know now, years ago, you would get a few pictures. Now, when sellers are getting their homes ready, they do like virtual tours.
Yeah, so virtual tours, Matterport, some new technology that didn't exist 10 years ago is very, very big. Staging homes are tremendously important. So it's a bigger production today than a couple of years ago.
Right. And do you find that, because online, in the market and sales and things like that, people buy things online, does that affect the agents? Are they going on and are they buying without an agent?
Well, not today. They still, thank God, they still need an agent today
Okay.
to help guide them through the different landmines that are out there.
Right.
But through social media, I think buyers have a lot more at their fingertips,
Right.
a lot more information. But I think it's really important to work with a real estate professional today to get to know the market.
Yeah, that's actually my next question. Like, what should a buyer or seller look for in a professional?
I think someone to be really knowledgeable in the area, Ray, someone that is hopefully doing this full time,
Right.
that knows the market, somebody that can guide somebody and educate, a strong communicator. I think someone with strong communication skills, I think, are vitally important today.
Right. And I think also there's a lot of professionals out there. There's a lot of realtors. Years ago, there weren't that many. Now, it seems like everyone's a realtor.
Yeah, I think the MLS had 21, the GSMLS had around 21,000 members,
Right.
over the past year.
It's kind of trying to figure out how you can make some money because, everybody's out there selling. But that's why it's important to pick the buyer. the professional, the
Yeah,
broker.
I think being knowledgeable. I think knowing someone that you feel really comfortable about. I think honesty, integrity,
Right.
has a big part to do with it too.
Right. Do you think your track record, if they see you sold 10 houses last month, do you think that helps? So they'll gravitate towards you before someone who sold one all year? I mean, is that a factor?
I think people like to pick people that know the market very well. They feel like they have a better shot
Right.
at selling the house with somebody more experienced. But it really comes down to really putting the time and energy into doing the marketing.
Right. So basically, in the past 10 years, it hasn't changed all that much. It's just, I guess it's the way you present it.
Yeah, I think the presentation is pretty big, and I think clients need to like and trust the individual that they're bringing on board.
And let me ask you this too, because a lot of people say, I'm just going to sell the house as is, and I guess you call that staging. Do you get involved in that with the?
Yeah, more so today. I think, when you select a price for a house, everyone is looking for that shiny penny. They're
Right.
looking for something that's brand new. 10 years ago, I think people wanted to buy houses that really weren't in good condition.
Right.
So I think houses that are in better condition today usually sell for more money, and in less time.
Yeah, that leads me to one of my final questions: is what are today's buyers looking for in a home?
I think today's buyers are looking for move-in ready homes. They're looking
Right.
for houses that are, the kitchens are updated, bathrooms updated, nice backyard, maybe with a fire pit, do some social weekend partying, I guess, maybe.
Because everyone doesn't have a vision. Some people could go in and they could say, I'm going to rip this out, tear this out, and I could do it. But a lot of people don't have that. So
I know, and you know what? So I think it's important to know what you're looking for and to keep an open mind, and work with somebody that knows the area.
okay, and you deal with Clifton obviously also. Do you find that the people buying Clifton now more family oriented, or they're more transient because of New York?
No, I think a lot of families are moving in. Our neighborhood, we live in the Ridgefield section of Clifton,
Right.
and now it's starting to turn over with younger generation coming in, and with kids.
Right, so you
Yeah,
find
so
it's
it's
still a community that's going to attract families to raise their children.
Yeah, very much so.
I know, because they say we have a good school system, which we do, and like anything else, Clifton's a large city.
Yeah, it's a diverse city. My wife and I have been here for 29 years. Absolutely love it. You can jump right into the city in about 30 minutes,
Right.
25, 30 minutes.
So I think, for the people watching, if you're going to buy or sell, obviously the way to go is with a professional, because you don't have to worry about anything. They're going to tell you what to do, where to go, and I know John's been doing this for a while, and I'd like to thank you for coming on. Hopefully, if there's any questions, people will contact you. Anyhow, when we return, talking with a local girl who has made a big impact on the pageant world. We'll be right back.
Hello, Clifton. My name is Kevin Donahue. I'm the Executive Director at St. Peter's Haven. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization right here in Clifton, serving the hungry and the homeless. I'm here today to tell you about a new event that we are putting on. It's called the Bloomin' 5K Run and 1 Mile Walk. It's called the Bloomin' Run because, well, it's happening in the spring when all the flowers are blooming. It'll be April 14th, starting at 8 a.m. For all you runners out there, it's a certified and sanctioned run, starting at Clifton Stadium, heading out through the stadium and then onto the streets. For all you folks who aren't runners, well, that's okay. We got a 1 mile walk, and that's happening in Maine Memorial Park around the lake. All the proceeds from this event go to help support the mission at St. Peter's Haven, feeding the hungry and helping the homeless. We run a food pantry in town and services for the homeless, including outreach to those on the streets. If you're interested in being a part of the movement to end hunger and homeless here in Clifton, you can learn more about the event at bloomin5k.org. Thank you so much, Clifton. I appreciate the support.
Well, welcome back. Our next guest is a local girl from Clifton. She's been named the 2018 and 19 National United Little Miss. Here to tell us more about her experiences is Cindy Lalla, accompanied by her mom, Latasha Castro-Lalla. Well, welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you.
Cindy, it's great to have you on here. We don't get to interview too many little kids. It's a little tough for me. No, so you go to school in Clifton, right? And what school do you go to?
I go to school to shout out to Mr. Varriano and all my best friends.
Oh, sure, you start with the shout outs. But that's good. Now, you've been in pageants. How long have you been doing pageants?
For about 2 years.
2 years. And why did you start doing pageants?
I started doing pageants because it does self-confidence and self-esteem, which I don't have.
I think you do.
So I decided to do pageants, and it also involves beauty, which I love.
Okay.
Which is like when I was little, I used to do like brushing my hair and stuff. So I used to love doing beauty.
Okay, so Mom,
Yes.
when she approached you about doing this, what was your reaction?
No.
No?
She asked me for 4 years.
For 4 years.
And I said no. And eventually I stopped coming up with excuses. And we said, okay, let's see. And at her first pageant, she was magical on stage. And we said, we've kind of been holding her back. So we decided, all right, let's do it. And a year later, she has a national title.
And she's done very well. I know we've met a few times over the past few years. She's done some great things with the city. What do you like best about the pageants?
I like best about the pageants is the competitions and the parties. In pageants, they do like competitions. For example, they do like introduction, gowning, and they also do parties, which I love because you get to meet new people from all around the world, and you get to just have fun and dance.
She's a natural.
Yes.
Oh, it's good. And do you ever get nervous when you're doing these pageants?
Sometimes I get nervous, but I always think to myself that you're gonna do great and you're gonna be awesome. So that's just.
No, that's good. And you're doing great. You know, obviously you're going to keep doing this. So now, in your spare time, do you do any volunteer activities in Clifton?
I do softball, Clifton softball. I've been on the team for about 1 year. And then I also do art tag, which is a art class which I go after school and do art. And I also do.
You've done a lot so far, so that, I mean, that's pretty good. But let me ask you something. Do you have any spare time? I mean, what do you do? If you have any spare time, what would you do?
I would usually color or do art because that's my favorite. But I would also do gymnastics because, and dance because I like to do that too in my room.
It's probably helpful because as you go through pageants, a lot of those, they use dance or they use different things that you have to do. It's not just a pretty face,
dance.
right?
Yeah.
You have to have it. There's a whole package here, so, and that's great. And you're a very pretty girl.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, pageant-wise?
Next pageant-wise for me is probably giving up my crown and then doing another pageant, which I'm hoping for. I'm gonna probably do NAM or International Junior Miss. I haven't decided, but I would definitely know I'm gonna do a pageant.
Okay, so is there anything in the next 2 years, or how does this work now? I know you said give up my crown. I don't know what that means.
So when you only have 1 year to be the title,
Okay.
and then you crown someone else, and then they become that queen. So it keeps going on
Okay.
and on and on.
And looking towards the future, last question, what do you plan on doing when you become an adult? And that's a long time from now, but you must have some ideas.
Well, I have a lot of choices. I want to be a dentist or Miss America.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's
or
Okay.
artist. Yeah.
We have plenty of time to decide. I mean, what you're doing now is great. This is great for you. Mom must be really proud.
Yeah, you know, her dad and I and her brother and sister, we're really proud of what she's doing. We love that she likes to give back to the community, that she
Right.
does community service, and she understands the value of that. That's really important for us
Right.
to instill in her.
And I remember when we first met, I think you were collecting books.
Oh yes, I did a book drive, and I collected books. So I collected books and then donated to kids who are less fortunate, and I gave it away to a youth center that less fortunate kids can read books there and get books.
See, that's very nice to give back.
very
I think
nice.
we're going to see a lot from this young lady. I'd like to thank you for coming on my show, and thank you, Mom, for bringing her.
Thank
I hope it's
you.
not past her bedtime.
Not yet, we're good.
But it's good. But thank you very much for coming on. Hope to
Thank
see
you
you
for
again
inviting
soon.
me.
Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. And darling, stand by me. Okay, well, that's the end of tonight's show, but we'll be back soon with more from your hometown. We'd like to thank Layal, Helwani, John Varriano, and Sydney Lalla and her mom for joining us this evening, and big thanks to all of you for welcoming us into your homes. But until next time, from all of us at Meet Clifton, remember, be good to your friends and family, respect your neighbors, keep Clifton close to your heart. This is a great city. Thank you, God bless, and good night.